Okay, next we're moving on to Chakra Scalpel. Chakra Scalpel, I don't have that much to say about it. I feel like the range is inconsistent for one. Like if you use it up close to somebody, you'll stop right before you hit them, and then sometimes if you're far away, you'll like go all the way through. You know what I mean? Like it's like he holds his punches when he's close. If that makes sense. I don't know what do you think about the range of it?
So first of all, I'm ready to say this, that Chakra Scalpel is my favorite jutsu in the game. You know what I mean? I've always, it's my thing. I love it. I can't say a lot. I love Chakra Scalpel. But at the same time, I do agree that there are like a lot of issues with it. You know what I mean? Like I do think that the consistency with like its range is just like isn't there. Like 1 minute it's OP and you're able to hit someone from really far away, and then the next minute you're just like, how did I miss? Right? Like sometimes it appears like there's this invisible wall that you had no idea existed that kept you from hitting the person, and you're like, they're right in front of me. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like it's best when you're getting charged directly. Like when the person is charging you, you can just pop it and know that you're gonna hit them. But if you're trying to charge the person and they're like moving around and not like stationary or still, and even sometimes when they're still, you still miss it, and you're just like, how? What in the? You know what I mean? Like what is happening right now?
That's probably everybody's main word when they play Kabuto is how. How?
Yeah. How? Exactly. That is really. I just feel like how? Like this makes no sense to me. I'm so confused right now. I'm actually really irritated by the fact that like this isn't working. So yeah, but I love Chakra Scalpel. I love Chakra Scalpel, especially because like I love the move in the anime, to be honest. Like I thought it was like really unique, and I think one of my favorite scenes is like when he actually uses Chakra Scalpel for the first time, and you see him kind of like
put Tsunade in the dirt. I ain't gonna say put her in the dirt. Cause is it the first time he used Chakra Scalpel when he fought against Tsunade?
Yeah, when he fought against Tsunade. Yeah, she was actually surprised because she's like, that is actually used for like a surgical maneuver.
Yeah, it's not even an offensive technique.
Yeah, it's like a medical technique that he transformed for like taijutsu purposes, right? To be able to ultimately create damage. And when you see the fight against his mother, like you saw the level of damage that bad boy could do. Like,
that was against his mother.
When she kind of jumped down and he didn't know that it was her, like he took out almost half her ribcage.
I feel like it might have some of the worst tracking in the game.
Oh, absolutely. It's super inconsistent. Like you don't know if it's gonna land or if it's not gonna land. It's pretty bad. But when it lands, that's the thing. The reason why I love Chakra Scalpel is because, definitely when it's an offensive jutsu that you can use. You know what I mean? Like it sounds like it's best when it realistically like the range is inconsistent. Like sometimes it can go and stretch really far distances, and then sometimes it's like the range is tarantara. It's like, oh sorry. Yeah. I'm just saying, like sometimes it's like, oh yes, you want to touch me? You think it's gonna work? Liza Minnelli. You know what I mean? Like no. And then other times where you're like, oh, this definitely isn't gonna hit, but I just want to get closer to you. And you're like, oh, I just touched you? What? You know what I mean? Like,
I feel like you hit it when you least expect it to.
Yeah. Or
like, you don't even prepare yourself to combo it up or anything like that.
Definitely. I would increase his range, and I would definitely buff the consistency of jutsu itself. You know what I mean? Like I feel like there are other jutsus like Hazan, right? Hazan.
That move's ridiculous.
But I'm saying though, like, why can't Chakra Scalpel have Hazan range one or tracking? Like Hazan, you nothing you're gonna do. You're gonna get hit. Chakra Scalpel, like, all right, I could do X, Y, and Z. There's a good chance it's going to miss, right? It doesn't have the tracking that Hazan Strike has, but Hazan Strike's purpose is very similar to what Chakra Scalpel's is, right? Like, Chakra Scalpel is a Hazan Strike for defenses, for healers, right? So, wait, what you said?
I said, you think so?
Yeah, I think, because, like Hazan Strike, it lowers your secret gauge technique, and it removes and resets your sub, right? So Chakra Scalpel, it seals your jutsus, seals your subs, and seals your ult. So what its intention is a disabling jutsu, right? It's a jutsu to set you up for other things, right? So like when I use Chakra Scalpel, I use it to set up a combo. Like, and that's why for me as a combat healer, like I'm really focused on like hand-to-hand combat or sword to body contact. Because healers, unfortunately, even though all the healers in the anime have hand-to-hand combat, like Tsunade is hand-to-hand combat, Sakura, Kabuto, even though Kabuto has the chakra scalpels, like he still is using taijutsu, right, to fight, even though it's not really his forte, right?
He even says it's not his forte. He says it.
Yeah, he says it's not his forte, but he's done things to kind of combat it, right? And like Kabuto was powerful enough that they said that he was even like Kakashi's level when it came to like ability in the Naruto series, right? Like this is not even talking about like Shippuden, you know what I mean? And similar to Sakura, like his ability to evade incoming attacks from taijutsu users is pretty incredible. Like, you know what I mean? Like, even in my old intro, like he has a whole scene where he's fighting, I think, Sakura and Sai, and he's like just dodging all their shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like with no issue. So I just say like he had like, you know what I mean? Like his taijutsu wasn't that great, but like, he held his own, and I just feel like, I still feel like Chakra Scalpel, deserves better.
I would like it to be something similar to a hand-to-hand combat changer. Like, let's say you activate it, right? Then instead of using your sword, you would just use your hands. And then every time you hit them, it would do more damage. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like a fast-paced type of fighting style. It's a way for healers to have hand-to-hand combat. As soon as you activate it, their whole fighting style changes. A hand-to-hand enhancement for heal types to give them more of a hybrid healer, one that can fight and heal. You know what I'm saying?
So you're saying that would change the actual fighting style for that individual?
Yeah.
For that individual. Is there a jutsu in the game right now that's similar to that? No, right?
No, none. And I think it would be like a good one for it to be this jutsu that does it.
I actually really like the concept of that, where like Chakra Scalpel is like, well, yeah, that it would actually like hand-to-hand increase it, but you're saying that it would also change the fighting style, right? Like it would almost like take away your sword and give you hands to fight. I think when you put it in that perspective, in regards to like, them kind of like changing it where their style of gameplay and combat changes, would be interesting and something that definitely, it would add something new to the game that's not present right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that, given all the changes that have recently been happening and a lot of like mechanics that are being introduced to the game that didn't exist before, like even like Boruto's ult now is definitely game changing, right? Like we've never really seen anything like that in the game before. Thunderclap either. It's just like a lot of different things that have been introduced to the game, but definitely I feel like when you put it in that perspective, because Chakra Scalpel, like he uses that to fight, so that would definitely be something that like you would catch someone, be kind of like it should almost be like an ultimate, like when you compare it to like what's that? I don't know the name of it, but it's that thunder kind of cloak attackers have that you have to get when you play
lightning style armor.
Yeah, like I feel like it should be like an ultimate where you have like Chakra Scalpel like on your hands and you use it to fight.
Oh, that'd be cool, but then where would they put Feather Illusion? See?
And Feather Illusion is super OP, But yeah, no, I can definitely see that point. I think that'd be interesting. Like personally for me, I think it's because I love Chakra Scalpel so much that like I don't envision changing it. You know what I mean? Like for me.
Oh no, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that because I like the way the move is. I just feel like if you were to keep the move the exact way it is, I'm fine with that as long as you fix the small issues with it, the tracking, the range. You fix those two, I'm completely fine with it.
Yeah,
it's a very good move. You said that you use it to start combos. I actually use it in the middle of combos.
Really? Mm-hmm. Okay, well, that's interesting. Yeah, I definitely don't do that. Yeah, I definitely use it to start combos because, like, for me, my emphasis has always been on the hand-to-hand combat. So, like, this really gives me the ability to take advantage of the individual's like sub-block. Mm-hmm. I feel like, especially a lot of players are so dependent on their ninjutsus to fight that when you actually pressure them to actually focus on their actual hand-to-hand, it's like a different ballgame, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like they're like a lot of players are so reliant on like using their ninjutsus to compete that when you're actually asking them to like go head to head with someone just using the hands, it's like a lot of them don't know what to do. I mean,
yeah, I definitely think.
Yeah, especially when you think of like ranges, right? Like ranges do a lot of DPS more so with. Well, I don't know. When you're facing skilled players, it's kind of a different ball game, but yeah, I don't know. I think it's interesting that you. So when you talk about in the combo, like you do it after the fourth hit in the healer combo, or
after the second.
How do you? I mean, I feel like a Chakra Scalpel, the way that it is, like even nervous system rupture tracking is trash. Right? It's like those two moves together, like a tracking isn't great.
I don't know. I feel like I get hit by a nervous system rupture a lot. They usually sneak me with it, but even like when it's right in front of me, it feels like it's still kind of difficult for me to dodge. But it might just be me.
I think what I find most frustrating with Chakra Scalpel is that when you believe that it's going to hit is when it doesn't. You know?
Yes, yes.
But when you really need it to land, so you can like, come out of it like really just be like, nope, sorry.
Yeah.
My drink got dry real quick. You're like, dang.
All right, so after testing Kabuto's Chakra Scalpel in midair without going after anybody, the range that it goes there is the range that it should go out every single time. You know what I'm saying? Even if you're not locked onto anybody on the ground, the range is good. It's just when you try to hit somebody with it, it's like the range decreases for some reason.
Yeah, it does. And then it also really depends on what type of movement your opponent is doing. Right? Like if your opponent moves to the side, it's super weird. You know what I mean? I love it when sometimes it magically does this, where like, let's say you're popping Chakra Scalpel and then all of a sudden your opponent subs because there's like a third party that's hit them. It does sometimes do a magical thing where like it
turns around.
Kind of like turns around and you don't even like it ain't gonna hit. It's not gonna hit. I don't know what this magical turnaround was, but it's not gonna hit. And then you're like, oh, I caught them. What? And you be like feeling so OP, even though it's just a game being like, yeah, we're gonna help you out this one time, but don't get used to it. You know what I mean? You're like, what?